Hey everybody, Steve Bergen here. We're going to be doing more GD review in Google Docs and Google Drive. So let me put this aside and let's start knocking off some questions. The first few, starting in the 20s, deal with the GD survey form. What are the various types you can use for each question in the GD survey form? I believe there are about 9 or 10 different types: text and paragraph text and multiple choice and so forth. We'll take a look at them quickly in a review. Which form allows the users to click on more than one choice? It's checkboxes. Checkboxes allow the person to choose, 2 or 3 different choices. Can you change the order? Yes. Let's take care of 21, 22, and 23, and we'll do this quickly by going to a new form and just call this review, and we can pick this format. And now here are all the choices, right? I think there are 9 different choices, right? But the one called checkboxes, to answer that question, allows me to go AAA, BBB, CCC, DDD, as if we were having choices of what we're going to put on a burger in terms of things. And this is the one, if you view the live form, that you could choose multiples. It's the checkbox format. So that answers that question. Is it possible to move questions around? Another question. And done. Yes. If you don't like the order of these things, you can just pick it up and you can move it right over there. Okay, so I think we've got that done. That takes care of 21 and takes care of 22 and 23. What are 2-3 different ways you can see and maintain the data from the people who have completed your survey form? So the trick for number 24 is that when somebody fills out this form, and we can view the live form, and I can put some data in here and submit. And now when we go back and we look at the form, there's responses 1, and the 2 or 3 different ways that you can deal with the responses, right, are summarized under change response destination. So you can have the response destination to be in a brand new spreadsheet, or you can keep using the same spreadsheet and it can be in a new worksheet in that existing spreadsheet. So those are 2 of the 3 choices, right? A brand new spreadsheet called review responses, or an old spreadsheet and you just use a new worksheet as part of it. And then the third choice is if you change response destination, and I believe you can unlink the form, and then you can have the responses can be only in the form. You see where it says keep responses only in the form, and if I do that, then it's the form itself that would have the summary of responses, right? And you would never have a separate spreadsheet look. You'd always have this kind of look. All right? We got to make progress here. Number 5, what's meant by data validation? And number 26, what type of question, if you want to use it to check off items in a rectangle, is 2 by 5. So let's go back to the form, and the validation is that you can require this to be, let's say, a legitimate email. If I go to the pencil and I choose data validation, I could say that I want the text here to contain an email address. So it has to be an email address, otherwise you can say to the person error, and that works fine. Or you can say I want it to be a URL, and again you could say this is the error message, not a URL. So that's called data validation. And the other question, if I remember correctly, was, what do you do if you wanted a 2x5 grid? And the answer is that would be, when you add an item, that would be a grid, which is one of the 9 data types. And you would say the grid would be 2x5. So you would have row 1, row 2, and then you would have 5 columns. And then it would end up looking like a 2x5 grid. Okay, so we've knocked that off, and let us go back to the list of questions and see how far we can do. We're up to number 27. What type of question in the survey form do you use if you want the user to indicate a number from 1 to 5? Right, so that is called a scale. So you would add the item, and it would be, what type would be a scale, and you would say scale from 1 to 5, and then it would look just like that from 1 to 5. And that's your scale question. And number 28 says, what's the grading program that works with Google Drive and helps a graded student? The answer is Flubaroo. Flubaroo does automatic grading, but remember, it requires the teacher to use short answers or multiple choice questions, right? Because those are the ones that the computer can easily analyze as being right or wrong. What are the steps for creating a chart on Google Drive? What should the first row of the spreadsheet be? So let me close up a few things here so we don't get confused. And I'm going to make a new spreadsheet. And so the first row of it should be a title. In other words, what a description. This might say names, and this might say ages, and then you would have some fictitious names here and ages. But what you want to have is, this should be the header. So the steps are, you create the data, and then you go there, and then you go insert chart, and then it makes a chart using the data that you have, whether it's a bar chart, but it only labels things properly, like ages, if in fact in your spreadsheet you had the proper titles. Okay, how are we doing? We're up to number 30. What's the symbol used on Google Drive spreadsheet? Whoops, there's a typo there. To achieve absolute reference, and the answer for that is the dollar symbol. The dollar symbol, right, with all its specifics, means absolute. What's the exact formula we use if we want to multiply B4 by the amount entered in A1, and we want A1 to be an absolute reference? Okay, so let us go back to the spreadsheet. A1 is to be an absolute reference, and B4. So A1 is going to be absolute. So I will put 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, and B4, and we'll wipe this other stuff out. And B4 is going to be based on A1. I think that was the question. Multiply B4 by the amount in A1. So we want to multiply maybe 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can't use, whoops, that was B4, sorry. So we can't use equals B4 times A1, because the problem says A1 needs to be absolute reference. So that's where we're going to use the dollar symbol, and we're going to say $A, $1. And that means if this is another number and we copy this across, this also is going to be based upon A1, because it's going to have the dollar symbol there doing that. All right? What's the rule of 72 in terms of money increasing in a bank at certain percentages? The rule of 72 is that it takes, if 8 times 9 is 72, then if it's an 8% increase, it takes 9 years to double. If 4 times 18 is 2, then at 4% interest, it takes 18 years for money to double. Okay, question number 33. What's the rule? How many parameters, chunks, within the if-then formula on a Google Docs spreadsheet? What does each one stand for? Give an example. So you're always saying things like if If it's 5 o'clock, it's time to go home. Otherwise, I keep working. So an if-then statement on a spreadsheet, and I'll go to a spreadsheet, has 3 parameters as the answer. And I might say equal if, and the first parameter is if C5 is greater than 2000. Then the second parameter is the response, perhaps in quotes, if it's not numeric, and then no. So there's 3 responses, 3 parameters, 2 commas in an if-then statement. All right? I hope that helps for that one. Number 34, what's the icon called that's used frequently on web pages to make sure it's called a Captcha? Captcha. C-A-P-T-C-H-A. C-A-P-T-C, which stands for, if I can get it right, completely automated program to something humans apart. Tell computers and humans apart. Completely automated program telling computers and humans apart. I think that's right. Maybe the T is Turing. And all you have to do is Google Captcha, right, and you'll have your answer. What model of Google allows you to make a website? The Google Sites module. What's the URL for that area of it's sites.google.com. So if you type into the URL sites.google.com, right, and you push return, you find out that these are the sites that you have been creating. All right? Real quickly so I can make sure that I didn't tell you something wrong. If I go to Captcha and read the Wikipedia, there's the response I got right there. Completely automated public Turing test. Completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. There's the answer. Okay, let's close that up. Okay, so there's your answer. Completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. Okay, what's the name of the add-on to Google Drive that allows you to add voice comments to a Google Drive word processing? The answer is Kaizena. Kaizena. Okay, and we did something pretty thoroughly with that in our course, and I know a number of you got pretty excited and interested in that. When you have a Google Drive word processing document and you want to open with Kaizena, what do you choose after right mouse clicking? Not open, but open with. You don't need an example. That's a quick, easy answer. Number 38, what add-on to Google Drive allows you to take a 2-column spreadsheet and turn it into flashcards? I think 2 or 3 of you explored this, and it was called Flippity. And it's flippity.net, not flippity.com. Flippity.net. Number 39, to avoid hassles, all users should always make their first few Google sites as a blank template. Don't use a template, right? Always do the blank template because you'll get yourself in trouble, and then everything you build you will own because you know how to do it. If you use one of their fancy templates, you will find yourself being frustrated when you modify it. To add a page to your Google site, you click the plus sign. I don't think I need to show that example. You know that. Demonstrate how to make a new Google site and then change the color scheme. Okay, so we would go to sites.google.com. I don't think I'm going to do this whole thing. I'm going to waste too much time to do this. You're going to create a site, and then there's a feature there to change the color scheme, but I don't think I need to do that. Let's see if we can get these questions done. We've only used 14 minutes, and I'd love to get through all of the questions. What command system in Google Drive lets you join 2 cells together? In other words, what would you type into D3 so that B3 and C3 would be joined into one word? A review comment on that, right? We have something here that says Larry, and something here that says bird. So it's the concatenate operator, right, which is the ampersand sign, like A and P, stop and shop. And this will, of course, squish them, right? But it's the ampersand symbol. And what you want to do is use the space character, but you got to be careful how you do it. And then you achieve that correct result. And then when I fix Larry's name to have Larry there, that's good. And in case you didn't know it, his middle name was Joe, so it's Larry Joe Bird. Not that you really care. Okay, what do you choose on a Google Drive spreadsheet if you want to see all formulas? The answer is, if you want to see all formulas on a Google Drive spreadsheet, you go to View and you choose about 9 down or 8 down. It says all formulas, and then all the formulas will be visible. And then you do the opposite of it by doing that. So it's a great feature, and this is a brand new 2013 feature. Okay, we are up to number 44, and I believe this section ends with just 2 more, and we're good on time. How would you help a colleague who sorted the spreadsheet and discovered that the top line, the top line with labels got alphabetized into the body of the spreadsheet? Okay, and that happens all the time because the person has been sorting incorrectly. So if I come over here and I say name, and I say Alice and Bob and Charlie and William, if you're not careful, what's being said is that we go like that, we go to data, we sort the range by A to Z, and now all of a sudden we have a bug because name is part of the data, and how would the computer know otherwise? So let me undo and show you that the proper way is you go to sort range and you indicate with the check mark that the data has a header row, and by saying data has a header row and then you sort it, now it's proper. Okay, and in case you don't believe me, I'll put David. I'll sort it again from A1 to A6 and sort range. Yes, data has a header row, and now it put David in properly, and it didn't touch name. And that's the important thing. It didn't touch name. And finally, question number 45. Is it possible to take a spreadsheet? Whoops, there are 46 questions. Is it possible to take a spreadsheet where all data has been entered in the form of Doe, Jane, and turn this into 2 columns with first name and last name separated? Okay, so I believe we learned about, right, the split command. And the split command allows me on a spreadsheet to have Doe, Jane, and here we would say equals split, and we're splitting the string, and then we're putting them in the delimiter. Okay, so why is this happening and bothering me? Equals split, parentheses of that, and the delimiter is a comma, and when I do that, it splits it accordingly, and there's your function equals split. Okay, and quick review on that. And now number 46, how do you take a sentence on a Google Drive spreadsheet and have it span 5 contiguous columns and 2 rows so it's occupying them with no divisors? Make sure your sentence is centered up and down and left, right. Okay, I will take this sentence and copy it, and I will go to a spreadsheet, and it's supposed to be 5 by 2, so I'll paste it in here. And now it's not in a 5 by 2 rectangle. But now I'm going to take it and go across 5 and down 2. And then I'm going to look up here for the word merge. And this is what we want to do. We want to merge it both horizontally and vertically. So we'll choose all. So now it's in a 5 by 2 section. And now we will use this to center it left to right. And we'll use this one to center it up and down. And now Notice, except for the fact that I left out the word D from demonstrate, that we've achieved what we wanted to do by using three icons up top, the merge and the vertical center and the horizontal center. And obviously we can make this more attractive by putting a background color. But we have managed in just about 20 minutes to get through all the questions through 46. So this is Steve Bergen signing off, and hope this has been a helpful and useful review. You'll tell me either way, please. Thank you. Bye.